Your savings might look safe in Wealthfront or SoFi's high yield account, but what if that safety is quietly costing you thousands in lost returns over the next decade? I put Wealthfront versus SoFi against each other to see which platform actually helps your money grow faster. And what I found surprised me. Let me show you. So first, when I started comparing Wealthfront versus SoFi, I didn't begin with flashy features or believed their slick marketing promises. Instead, I went straight to where the truth usually hides: real user reviews. Because, let's be honest, no platform looks bad on its own homepage and on its marketing materials and what they present to the public, so you have to dig deeper in order to find the negative reviews. So I went to the one-star reviews first, because that's where the skeletons usually hide. And with Wealthfront, I came across a guy who complained that even the most aggressive portfolio allocation wasn't aggressive enough for his taste. He said he was early in his career, not retiring for decades, and felt like the portfolio was too conservative. Now, I get where he's coming from, but in my experience, I think that might be more of like a mismatch than a flaw. Wealthfront's portfolios are based on your goals, not just like your age or your risk level. If you want to dial up the risk, you totally can. You just need to adjust your risk tolerance manually and move things around. And if we're keeping it real, I'd rather my platform err on the automatic side of caution than push me into risky allocations that I'm not ready for. Besides, most of the reviews that I actually saw around here and having to do with Wealthfront were just the opposite of that. One user talked about how it's basically perfect for people who want to invest smaller amounts, but still get exposure to money markets without paying through the nose for an advisor. He liked that it gave him a safe, low-cost way to invest without doing the heavy lifting himself. Another review really stood out to me. This guy went on about the automation and the tax savings strategies. So think about things like direct indexing and tax loss harvesting. They're not just buzzwords to this guy. He said they made a noticeable impact on his long-term returns and reduced his tax bill. So if this guy who's deep in the weeds on investing and knowing all of that stuff can use this, that can be helpful for more people. Also, Wealthfront has an average of a 4.5 out of 5-star rating for a reason. It's not just hype, it's execution. Now, when I looked through SoFi's user reviews, I came across this review from someone with an 800 plus credit score. He said he'd never missed a payment, had a flawless credit history, and still got denied for a loan. And to make matters worse, he went back and forth with customer support just to be told no. What really annoyed him was the hard credit pull, because now that denial was basically baked into his credit file. He literally ended his review with, "Don't risk a hard pull on your credit for nothing. Waste of time." That's rough. And unfortunately, I actually came across a lot more SoFi reviews with similar stories about frustrating support, inconsistent loan approvals, and people feeling stuck. So while both platforms have their ups and downs, I think the pattern is clear. Wealthfront is more consistent, more focused, and way less likely to blindside you with approval drama. And when I started exploring the features of these two platforms, the real difference between SoFi and Wealthfront started to show up. Most people think of Wealthfront as just another investing app, right? I did too. I actually thought that it was, just a basic app until I actually used it myself. So Wealthfront's cash account is where things get interesting. So it's not just a checking account, it's a full-on money hub. You get individual, joint, and even trust account options, which gives you way more flexibility than SoFi. Now, I personally use the individual cash account, and I love that it comes with full checking features. I'm talking paycheck deposits, debit card access, bill pay, even the ability to send checks directly. And yeah, the interest rate applies to every dollar sitting in there, not just what you stash away in some special high yield bucket that sits somewhere else and that you have harder time accessing. It's actually every single dollar. And when it comes to security of funds, Wealthfront gives you up to $8 million in FDIC insurance through its partner banks. If you're using a joint cash account, that number goes up to $16 million. I don't know if I'll ever have enough money to fill that out completely, but at least there's a lot of protection there. Something else I really like is how Wealthfront lets you organize your money with categories. So basically, categories is a way to create buckets of money for different goals inside your cash account. So let's say need to save for a wedding, a house, emergency fund. Just create a category in your account and move money in. It's still one account, you just get more control and visibility without needing 10 different bank accounts like SoFi expects you to juggle. Now let's talk about automation. So setting up an automated savings plan on Wealthfront took me maybe like 3 minutes, but once it's running, the system automatically moves excess cash into your categories or investments based on your rules. So it all happens really pretty quickly. Then there's Wealthfront's investment edge. So Wealthfront gives you access to money market funds. These are ultra liquid, low risk places to stash cash that you might want to invest soon, but maybe you're not ready yet. So unlike SoFi, which sort of mashes together a lot of products without focus, Wealthfront makes it clear this is built for people who want their money working while staying flexible. I also appreciate how they handle taxes. So I get tax documents now delivered on time every year right through the dashboard. If you've ever scrambled during tax season to track down investment documents and you can't find everything, you're trying to get everything from different apps all together in one place. So you know what of a huge relief this kind of thing is. Another standout feature is the portfolio line of credit. So if you have over $25,000 in certain Wealthfront investment accounts, so you can borrow against your portfolio with just a few clicks. No lengthy applications, no approvals. The rate is low and it's instant. That's something that SoFi just doesn't match with the same level of simplicity. Over here, one SoFi user said it best. He called it a joke of a bank. Between Apple Pay not working, trouble depositing cash, and customer service giving him the runaround, he eventually closed his SoFi account. That just hasn't been my experience with Wealthfront. Everything there just works. No jumping hoops, no support tickets, no excuses given. So yeah, if you're comparing SoFi versus Wealthfront, that's just based on core features, I think Wealthfront just runs circles around SoFi. But all right, time to talk about maybe what I didn't really like about Wealthfront, because it's not perfect, nothing is. And if I'm being honest, I think I would say the dashboard did take me a couple of days to get fully comfortable with. There's just a lot there, categories, tax strategies, multiple account types. But honestly, over time, that just became more power to me. So you're not just getting a dumbed down app that treats you like a beginner, you're getting some serious financial infrastructure that you can use to really dive deep into the market. And once I spent some time with it, everything clicked. When compared to traditional advisors or even some competing robo-investing platforms, I think Wealthfront is also reasonably priced. I wouldn't call it cheap, because it's not. But you're not paying for fluff either. You're paying for smart automation, seamless features, and rock-solid infrastructure. If you're someone who wants their money managed without hidden costs or surprise fees, Wealthfront hits that balance. So if you're stuck comparing SoFi versus Wealthfront high-yield savings purely on price, don't just look at fees, look at what you're getting for the money. Check the link in the description for their current pricing plan. We try to keep that updated with any new promos that Wealthfront is offering, so you'll always see the best deal. But all right, here's the bottom line. Wealthfront gave me better control, smarter tools, fewer headaches, and actual growth that I could see. SoFi might look easier from the outside, but when it comes to long-term gains, it just doesn't stack up. Check the link in the description of this video to get started with our special discount and coupon.